The rules of Noon Sakina and Tanween. First of all, we need to know what is Noon Sakina and what is Tanween. Noon Sakina is the noon that is free from any vowel. So it's the noon that has no haraka or the noon that has a sukoon mark on it. Noon Sakina occurs in nouns and verbs, in the middle of the word and at the end of the word as well. It also occurs in prepositions and particles, but only at the end of the word. So the Noon Sakina can have a sukoon on it, such as minha, minha, or it can come with nothing on it at all, such as an. Now let's talk about Tanween. Tanween is actually a Noon Sakina that comes at the end of the nouns. It is pronounced as a Noon Sakina, but it's not written as a Noon Sakina. You will find it written as Fathatan, Kasratan, or Dammatan. So whenever you find one of these three, Fathatan or Kasratan or Dammatan, which mean double Fatha, double Kasra, double Damma, you're going to pronounce them at the end as a Noon Sakina if you continue your recitation, but you abandon them if you stop at the end of the word. Example of Fathatan, Abdan Idha. You see how do we say it? Abdan. This an at the end is actually a Noon Sakina in its sound, but it's just written as Tanween. So if we continue our recitation, we say Abdan Idha. But if we stop at the end of the word that has Tanween, we abandon it, such as we mentioned earlier. So we say Abda. Tanween is no longer there because we stopped at the end of the word. An example of Kasratan, so Tanween with Kasratan, is يَوْمَئِذٍ خَاشِعَةٍ. You see, at the end of the first word, which is يَوْمَئِذٍ, there is Kasratan. So if we continue our recitation, we say it and we pronounce it as a Noon Sakina, يَوْمَئِذٍ خَاشِعَةٍ. And if we stop at it, we just stop with the sukoon and abandon the Kasratan, يَوْمَئِذ. An example of Dammatan is طَعَامٌ إِلَّا. You notice the Dammatan at the end of the Meem? طَعَامٌ إِلَّا. So if we continue our recitation, we say the Dammatan, طَعَامٌ إِلَّا. And if we stop at the end of the word, we abandon the Tanween, which is the Dammatan here, طَعَام. Okay? So now, Fathatan, Kasratan, Dammatan are the Tanween. They are pronounced as Noon Sakina, but they are just written differently. When you stop at the end of the word, you remove the sound of Noon Sakina, which is the Tanween here, and you stop with a sukoon. Now let's make a quick comparison between Noon Sakina and Tanween. Noon Sakina is written as a Noon and pronounced as a Noon as well. But Tanween is written as marks, such as we mentioned earlier, Fathatan, Kasratan, Dammatan, but pronounced as a Noon. Second thing, Noon Sakina, you pronounce it when you carry on in your recitation, such as Man, Aman. You notice the Noon here? We say it a clear Noon. And you say the Noon Sakina as well when you stop at it, such as Man. You still say the Noon. But it's not the case with Tanween. Tanween, as we mentioned earlier as well, you say it when you carry on your recitation. We mentioned some examples such as طَعَامٌ إِلَّا. But you remove the Tanween when you stop at it, طَعَام. Also, Noon Sakina comes in nouns, verbs, and prepositions, unlike the Tanween, which comes only in nouns, as we mentioned earlier, and it comes only in two verbs in Qur'an, which are لَنَسْفَعًا بِالنَّاصِيَةِ and لَيَكُونًا مِنَ الصَّاغِرِينَ. These are the two cases or the two words, the two verbs in which Tanween comes. Also, Noon Sakina can come in the middle of the word, such as minha, and can come at the end of the word, such as man. And Tanween only comes at the end of the word. So, after knowing Noon Sakina and Tanween, whenever you find this Noon Sakina that you know, or whenever you find this tanween that you know, you understand there must be a rule here. There must be a way to read this noon, and there must be a way to read this tanween. The ways of reading noon sakina and tanween are 4. So the rules of noon sakina and tanween are 4. Let's explain them in detail.